On October the 31st, 2017, finally betted at the newly built 500-meter FPSO integration quarry site at the Samsung Yard at LADOL Free Zone in Lagos. That was on Wednesday, January the 24th, 2018. Now, the historic arrival of the $3.3 billion world's largest FPSO is a game changer in Nigeria's oil and gas industry and a remarkable achievement in the local content development in Nigeria. Prior to Aegina FPSO's arrival, all the FPSOs operating in Nigeria's oil and gas industry were built and integrated in foreign yards, thus denying Nigeria the huge benefits of growing her gross domestic product, GDP, through in-country domiciliation of the huge expenditure and local capacity development. LADOL Integrated Logistics Enterprise, Lily, is a fully integrated offshore logistics support and ship repair company. Now, Lily's streamlined business model is based on years of studying in the best practices, now leading international offshore support bases. This data was used to design and build Lily's offshore base in Nigeria, creating a fully integrated facility with the best technology in the world. Lily's approach to logistics support is unique in Nigeria. The company's aim is to at least halve the cost of offshore support in Nigeria. This will double the return on investments and attract billions of dollars of new private investments into the country. Lily is deploying a state-of-the-art IT backbone. This will ensure efficiency, transparency, quality, and also minimize clients' overheads in Nigeria. Well, to put all of this into perspective, I have the right person in the studio. That with me is LADOL's Executive Director, Business Development, Mr. Jide Jadesimi. Thank you very much for joining us on Business Nigeria.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm going to start with the FPSO.
Yes.
Tell us, indigenizing Nigeria, the local content aspect of it, what's the real benefits directly to Nigerians?
Okay, so the benefit of the FPSO, prior to the Aegina's arrival, all the 8 FPSOs that have been integrated on behalf of Nigeria, that has been done in yards in either Asia or the Middle East or Europe. So having that inflow of investment into Nigeria, which has been catalyzed by the fabrication yard that we have built to allow for this integration, is really what has maximized the impact of the FPSO. So going forward, no one can say that it cannot be done. And so these things will be done locally and will increase human capital development. We're going to inflow a lot more investment, foreign direct investment into the country, and also increase jobs. Right?
Jobs, yes,
which
indeed.
is a big thing.
Indeed. What kind of fabrication, welding, and all of that? Can we just talk a little about some of this?
Exactly.
Job?
Okay, so the bulk of the work that we're doing for the FPSO, the floating storage production and offloading platform for Total, centers around fabrication and welding. So in total, we have fabricated over 7,000 tons of steel topsides for the FPSO, and the total we'll be integrating will be 12,000 metric tons. Now, the real game changer is that by having an integration facility in LADOL, it means that the demand for fabrication throughout yards in Nigeria has already been boosted. You know, so for future projects going forward, as local content levels have to increase, then we need more, we need more employed welders. At the moment, we have 1,000 certified welders in Nigeria, but we have no underwater welders, and so all of those jobs are filled by foreigners. So what we need to do is encourage and boost the human capital development. Now
let's look at the LADOL Integrated Logistics Enterprise, another great achievement by your company. Now, what do Nigerians need to know about this facility?
They need to know that Lily is 100% indigenous Nigerian, right? And that we made a private investment 17 years ago, completely ahead of the market, understanding that the model was build it and they will come. So what we can do in that facility is we can do maritime services such as rig repairs. So some of the biggest rig repairs in Nigeria have been done by Lily. We can also service the drilling and support services needed by deep offshore production and offshore production. Now, what that means is that previously to Lily's existence, we could not supply the drilling support needs that were required by these companies inside Lagos. Okay. And what happened last year is that Fulawio Aje, which is an indigenous Nigerian oil company, also had first oil last year, and then Lagos became an oil-producing state. Now, what people do not know is that the support for the installation of their FPSO was all done from LADOL, which was the first time a fully 100% Nigerian logistics base had supported a fully Nigerian oil company to achieve their project and their aims and their goals. So Lily really is a catalyst for unlocking the potential of Nigeria and of Nigerians, and really tapping into a hub for West Africa.
This would also improve or increase investments even coming into the country. Tell us about that. How would this also benefit us generally in the country?
So right now the government is quite rightly pushing the ease of doing business in Nigeria.
Yeah, perfect.
And free zones like LADOL represent that in action. So we provide a soft landing for investment into Nigeria within our duty-free zone. There's a lot of benefits that companies receive for inflowing that investment, such as 100% repatriation of foreign profits, and we create that stable environment. So by having customs, immigration, and Nigerian export processing zones officials on our facility 24/7, it allows us to service our clients in a cost-reducing way. So that's 60% cost savings for logistics business on world standards, you know, and it allows us to be fast as well, you know. So for our clients, when you're renting a support vessel at $250,000, dollars a day, every minute, every second, every hour is critical, you know, and we really take that on board as Lily, and we deliver that quality to our clients, the value they want.
Really interesting. Another Upskill Academy is something that also actually caught my attention, and I think Nigerians would really like to know what's it about the Upskill Academy in talking about vocational training hub.
Exactly. So the Upskilling Academy, like you quite rightly said, will be a vocational training hub for Nigeria and also for Africa. So what we're looking at in terms of our vision is to reduce the need for Nigerians to go abroad for training, narrow the skills gap so that we can help Nigerians to build sustainable, meaningful careers. And once we achieve those things, then we'll be able to actually address some of the massive youth unemployment, issues that we have, in our country today. I mean, this is one of the biggest agendas that we need to start addressing. Recently the Nigerian government said that 80% of young Nigerians are either unemployed or underemployed, and the reason for that is because they have these skills gaps, and we need to bridge that, and then also provide linkages to the private sector. So the Upskilling Academy will achieve that, and focused on the most dynamic job creation sectors of the economy. So, according to the Nigerian Bureau of National Statistics, to quote an authoritative body, the most dynamic job creation sectors in our economy, in terms of the consolidated average growth rate, right, are retail, industry, agriculture, information technology, hospitality, and these are the sections that we'll actually target in a very, very focused and laser-like way to actually address some of those concerns and those needs, and make sure that the graduates that we actually pull out, and also the qualifications that we then give, will be to an international standard, and it meets the demands of the market and what employers and businesses and companies are looking for.
I see something like bridging a gap here, kind of skills gap. Is that what we are looking at? I've been to LADOL's, the free zone, and I was impressed with what I saw.
Thank you.
Thousands of Nigerians working, welding, and all of that, things that never used to be done here at all. So I see this massive gap, bridging this gap. Is that what LADOL is trying to do?
Exactly, that's precisely it. So, if we talk about the FPSO project again, because we've already mentioned it, over 800 Nigerians were employed in executing that project. And then we also ensured that 60 Nigerians went to South Korea to receive further training, and they actually work as the supervisors, training and overseeing the Nigerians working in our qualification centers. So a key part of this welding and fabrication, lack that we have in the country is covered by our TVET program, so technical vocational educational training. Right now TVET has, if we look at success stories in other parts of the world like Brazil and Argentina, been a proven way of actually addressing these skills gaps that we have in the market. So welding, carpentry, electrical, mechanical, So LADOL is addressing the welding component of that first and foremost, and building out not just oil and gas related training, which is much needed and much in demand, but is also cyclical. So it's subject to the ups and downs and vagaries of the oil price, but we're also focusing on non-oil and gas welding training, which is required by industry, which is required by the aviation sector, for example, agricultural sector, manufacturing sectors. They all have these demands for qualified, certified staff who need to work for them.
Well, let's take a break, and we'll be back to continue this. I'll still have Mr. Jide here giving insights into activities of LADOL in regards to oil and gas, the maritime, and all of that. Don't go away. It's Business Nigeria. We'll be right back. Glad to have you back. You're still watching Business Nigeria, and I have with me Executive Director LADOL Business Development, Mr. Jide Jadesimi. We've been talking extensively on activities of the company and ways, and particularly with regards to local content, Upskill Academy, Lily, FPSO, oil and gas, maritime, and all of that. Now. The Local Content Act, I remember then the past administration, then when it was introduced and we had the board, then it was Ernest Nwakma that was Executive Secretary. How would you say Nigeria has really fared with regards to local content, really taking up this? Would you say we've done well, or are we still, we're not there yet?
So the Local Content Act, the 22nd of April 2010, passed under the administration of Jonathan Goodluck, and the custodian, the head of NCDMB at that time, correctly, was Ernest Nwapa. Now, before that act, and I would go as far to say that if not for that act, the integration of the largest FPSO in Africa, Aegina, which is currently happening at LADOL, would not have taken place. It mandated that there were minimum levels of local content components that had to be in every single oil and gas activity. So all the way from the upstream down to the downstream sectors. So what that did is that gave local indigenous investors such as ourselves, it allows us to work on a level playing field with the foreign multinationals, and it's no different to how a lot of the biggest economies in the world now, they actually became industrialized economies by protecting their nationals and allowing them to get a foothold in these various different industries. So not only has it been critical to allowing not just LADOL, but certainly the oil and gas industry in general, and to really progress and blossom with a lot more Nigerian, with the, similar to the Cabotage Act, with vessel owners who are Nigerians as well. But in terms of the local content Act, there's a lot more yards which are known by Nigerians as well, and working to world-class standards, and being competitive.
And another thing is, yeah, we would say that we've done well, at least to a level, because I'm trying to remember or paint that picture of what I saw when I was at the facility. I saw like plenty of the models were being produced at your yard there. Yeah. Now let's move away. Let's look at the ease of doing business initiative by government. Now a lot is being done, even at the airports, and making importation and exportation more easier. How has this affected your business, and what do you think about these moves by the government?
I think it's a very welcome move by the government. It's one of the key indicators for any outside investor who's looking at a range of options where they can invest their money. They'll look at, and we have to be competitive with other investment destinations within Africa. I mean, Ghana has just come out with some fantastic economic forecast for 2018. They have a very straightforward ease of doing business policy in terms of the short length of time to set up companies, the length of times at which the tendering cycles are very, very short, and numerous other countries. So we have to be competitive on that spectrum and on that scale. So it's very welcome news, certainly speaking for the private sector, for the government, and the interactions I have with certainly the other countries, diplomats and so on, they're very happy with it. In fact, it goes hand in glove with ensuring there's stable security in the country, ensuring that we have stable politics in the country. These are the metrics that investors will then look at and analyze and say, okay, fine, I have this pot of money. Now, where am I going to invest it to make sure that I get a secure and maximal return on that investment? So ease of doing business is critical. I believe that we have a very close relationship with the MPA, amongst the other agencies, and spearheaded by the MD of MPA, they've made great strides to really free up our ports, free up the congestion, and allow for fast-moving turnover in and out of the ports, which has been phenomenal. Certainly in terms of our working closely in our free zone with customs and immigration. I was with the ACG of immigration on our facility yesterday, and once again he reiterated the support of the CG for not just LADOL free zones but free zones in general, under the the egress of the ease of doing business. So we need more. We've gone up about eight places on the ease of doing business really index. I would say that work done, but there's still more to do, but we're moving in the right direction.
All right, as we round up now, it's 2018, lots of projections, expectations, lots of positives, even the figures we are getting that the economy is going to grow. What should we expect from LADOL as we move ahead? You
should expect more of the same from LADOL. We've been a company founded on pushing the boundaries of what people even believe is possible, and continuing to raise the bar. So there's a saying that I'm very fond of, which is the reward for more hard work is more work. So we're looking forward to the reward of our hard work, and just continuing to promote Nigeria and also promote Africa. So we need to collaborate. I'm a Pan-Africanist at heart, and I believe in a lot of the policies that are now coming out from the African Union about how we need to have a free trade zone of Africa. We need to improve it, cuts across aviation and all these things. So LADOL is very keen to play our own role in what is a much bigger puzzle.
All right, I think we'll leave it at that. LADOL's Executive Director of Business Development, Mr. Jide Jadesimi, there giving his views on the activities of this company and also the business which they run, and as it also affects the Nigerian government. Thank you very much for your time again.
Thank you.
Well, away from that, the federal government has planned to establish the Nigerian Mining Commission to take charge of the regulatory role of the mining Ministry of Mines and Steels Development. This was made known by the Minister of Mines Steels Development, Kayode Fayemi, at the ongoing African Mining in Durban in Cape Town, South Africa. Fayemi, while presenting the new airborne electromagnetic survey results amidst endorsement for the country's mining sector reforms by mining experts, says the delivery of geological data was in line with government's desire to ensure bankable data that will be an incentive to investors. He added that the ministry will undertake extensive electromagnetic airborne geological surveys of promising parts of the country this year, as well as the completion of the National Mineral Database. And the Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, says its tariff review proposal will increase the prices of cigarette and alcohol. This is in line with the implementation of the ECOWAS Common External Tariff, which is an instrument of harmonizing member states to strengthen its common market, agreed upon on October the 25th, 2014. According to the minister, the recommendation was made by the Tariff Technical Committee, the Ministry of Finance, CBN, and others. She suggested a tax of ₦1 per stick on cigarettes and tobacco products, 35 kobo per centiliter on beer and stout, ₦1.50, and on wines, ₦2 on spirits and other alcohol beverages. The African Development Bank has approved $10 million for the African Local Currency Bond Fund to further enhance its portfolio. The support fund is also to promote the development of domestic capital markets across the continent. The loan, with a 7-year tenure, including a 2-year grace period, is expected to invest in all African countries where local currency bonds are possible. It will also support opportunities for local African corporate issuers to access and diversify their long-term funding sources in local currency and crowd in local institutional investors. Now, the Ikorodu Lighter Terminal in Lagos has taken off as an export gateway. This follows the official flag-off of the cargo evacuation for export purposes from the terminals to the seaports. The initiative has been facilitated by the Nigerian Ports Authority as part of efforts geared at opening up the nation's economy. TVC News Ifunanya Eze reports.
There are ongoing efforts to expand the capacity of the Ikorodu Lighter Terminal and turn it to an export gateway by putting its facilities to maximum use. Government says this will open up the economy by increasing Nigeria's non-oil export. In line with expanding the terminal's optimal utilization, the management of the Nigerian Ports Authority officially set the ball rolling with the evacuation by water of more than 30 containers of solid mineral products for export.
We have manganese ore being exported using, I'll say, transportation, intermodal transportation nodes from Ikorodu Lighter Terminal to APMT Terminal. So we are seeing this as a first of many. We believe that our exportation of agric and solid minerals require fast track, require priority consideration, and such intermodal transportation system are one of the initiatives that are being brought on for us to support the exportation of agric produce.
The Ports Authority is optimistic that when water barges and other methods of cargo evacuation are strengthened, the seaports will be decongested and pressure taken off the roads.
As we seek to reconstruct the roads, there should be intermodal transportation systems. You know, the fact that all our cargo go on the roads is what makes our roads the state it is. So even if our roads are rehabilitated and reconstructed, we want to strengthen utilization of inland waters, I'll say like this this activity here, and we also like to see rail coming into the fore.
Terminal operators are hoping that the process of making intermodal transportation by waterway a sustainable alternative will ultimately drive export and increase Nigeria's foreign exchange earnings.
We expect this to be a continuous exercise. We expect to drive more export from this particular location. And once you drive more export, you expect that you're creating more employment. Today there's a lot of insecurity in the country from the northern part to the middle belt part. With the employment you're creating, security will come down. And as we expect exporting more from the country, there'll be earning foreign exchange for the country.
In view of this, government has been charged to go from talk to action by dredging the country's waterways for easy navigation. Ifunanya Eze, TVC News, Lagos.
Well, before I wrap up the show, we do apologize for not bringing you live feeds from the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Challenges beyond our control. But tomorrow, by God's grace, we'll be able to bring you live feeds and tell you how trading goes as usual as we bring it up to you on the show on a daily basis. Well, that's a wrap on the show. Thank you very much for watching. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Tolu Lokpe Gunjobi. Join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. Bye for now.